With the bending headlights, you do have to be going a little bit forward. You can't just be sitting still. But you'll see the headlights start moving once you start going forward. It's like just at least a few miles per hour. For some reason, it won't do it while you're sitting still. You can see it's like the right one moves to the right and left one moves to the left when you turn the steering wheel. And you can see there's a cutoff here on the fence. I don't know if you can see that. There's also like a little notch, like a little lower spot for oncoming traffic to try to avoid, you know, blinding them. Let me turn off the idle stop. But so you can see the fence there, and when we turn the high beams on, you can see that that line is still there on the sides, but there's additional light there in the center that's really high. I mean, it's a little bit too high, but you can see that goes all the way to the top of the fence. So it's like there's an additional light that turns on inside that projector, even though it's the same projector. But let's go ahead and look at it going on the road. And hopefully we don't make people mad, because these headlights are adjusted a little bit too high. And there was a couple times where people were flashing their lights at me, and I had my low beams on. But you know, they'll have to adjust the headlights for sure on this vehicle. So I don't know if you can see the headlights moving right here. See them? You can see them moving all over the place. They have a really, they move quite a bit on this vehicle. It's not like a little bit, they really move a lot. It's the low and the high beams. And I have the automatic high beams turned on, and the automatic high beams actually are working pretty decent. It's just the level of the low beams is too high. So far, my experience with it. You can see the high beams are really bright. And you see on that lane, that oncoming lane, that's where that dip down of the line goes, and it's trying to avoid blinding people. But if they're not in that one spot, then they could potentially get a little bit too much light in their face. Yeah, so on this road right here, it's pretty dark, and you can see those trees off in the distance, really good distance for the high beams. And even on the low beams, you can see pretty good. They're on the sides of the road, and the distance kind of fades away, but once you turn on the high beams, look at that distance. And it kind of goes up in the trees really high. I wonder if that has to do with the adjustments to the headlights here. But you notice it's not seeing this car here because it has a single light, so I had to dim it there. So that was a failure for the automatic high beams. All right, let me go ahead and put it back to the, there we go. Automatic high beams are back on. But yeah, as far as the visibility on the high beams is really good. There's a little patchiness to the overlap between the two lights on the road on certain areas, but it's not really a big deal. I mean, considering you can see really good. As I turn the steering wheel, like that's a little gimmicky to me. Like that little movement there, that's not going to make a huge difference as far as your visibility. So you can see It does the same thing on the high beams. It kind of gives a slight movement, but it's not really gonna do a whole lot, you know. It's just more gimmicky. To me, it is anyway. Maybe you have a different experience with it, but you see that movement in the beams as you turn the steering wheel. I'm intentionally moving it more than what I would normally move it, but just so you can see the movement there. But I don't know. Yeah, you let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you have experience with it that's, you know, works better than if they were just static, then you can share that in the comments. That'd be awesome.